Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Taking Sides. I'm Saxon and Zack alongside Zach Borland, and we are going to be talking all Pirates today as they gave us plenty of discussion topics over the past week, especially with a variety of trades. The first one of the week, I guess, was the Mark Melancon deal, Zach, and do you think they got enough in return when they sent him to the Nats?
I think so, because Melancon's a rental player, so he's only going to be with the Nationals through the end of the season, and Washington needed some bullpen help, obviously with Papelbon being very inconsistent. I thought the Pirates did very good. Rivero's a hard-throwing lefty, which they need. They also got a young prospect, Taylor Hearn, who's throwing hard in the minor leagues, had an ERA under 2 when they acquired him. So I thought they made a move for now with Rivero, and then for the future getting Hearn in that deal.
Well, I'm going to kind of disagree with you on that. I just think that having Melancon on the team makes the team a better team throughout the rest of the year. And being that they're only 3 games out of a wild card spot, they're hindering this year's team, so they're kind of waving a white flag in that sense. I understand why they did it. Like you said, he's not going to stay past this year, even if they had held on to him. But in return, getting a guy that is a lefty that can throw hard, I'm not impressed with him so far. We've seen him a handful of appearances this week. He just doesn't seem to be that impressive to me. But the Taylor Hearn's going to be 4 or 5 years down the road before we even think about seeing him, because the Pirates are so slow in developing their prospects. So I think they could have got a little bit more of an impact as far as the major league talent, but that's kind of the way the Pirates have always handled their trade. So I guess we really shouldn't be that surprised by it. Mm-hmm. Now another trade was the Jonathan Nice trade right before the deadline. They sent him back to the Mets in exchange for Antonio Bastardo, and that was probably one of the funnier trades of the day. If you guys aren't familiar, Antonio Bastardo with the Pirates last year. The Pirates traded Neil Walker for Jonathan Nice in the offseason, so now they're giving Jonathan Nice back. He was terrible this year. There's no word to describe it. Yeah, so basically it boils down to the Pirates gave away Neil Walker.
Now, here's my question to you. I've talked with many people about, does this mean the Pirates basically traded Neil Walker for Antonio Bastardo? Is that logic? Do you agree with that logic?
I'd say they gave, because Bastardo was already on the roster.
Exactly.
So basically they gave him away.
They could have re-signed him, too. It wasn't that big of a deal.
So that
surprising, but it's the Pirates.
Tough being a Pirate fan.
It really is. That's why I'm not.
Now, Liriano is another hot topic trade. He went to the Blue Jays. Where do we start with this?
Well, okay, so Liriano went to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays gave the Pirates back some cash for that deal and took on some of that contract, which is good because Liriano is not worth what he's getting paid right now. The Pirates also gave up Harold Ramirez, which I think was okay, and Reese McGuire, which
the catcher of the future.
Yes, the catcher of the future. But the Pirates got back Drew Hutchinson, who, if you look at his win-loss last year, was great. I think it was 13-5 last year, but his ERA was over 4 or 5 or something like that. So basically, because Toronto's offense is amazing, he got a lot of wins last year. But the problem is, why did the Pirates give away Reese McGuire? He's the catcher of the future, like you said. The Pirates have had many injury issues with Cervelli being out, with Stewart being out. Elias Diaz, who's another prospect they have, he's been out for a while. So McGuire's been the one healthy staple in the minor leagues who's looked really good, in my opinion, in Double-A. Why did they get rid of him?
It's just stupid. They're all the ownership group and this management group. I don't think will ever win a World Series solely because they're just focused on making money, and I think they consider winning icing on the cake, if you want to put it that way. So I just don't think they care about winning that much. The fans, obviously, we want to see them find a way to win another World Series. I mean, it's been how many years since '79?
Or get past the wild card game.
Well, at least get past the wild card game. Well, we got past the wild card game in the NLDS against the Cardinals.
Yeah, but they lost.
Yeah, they lost, but they still got past it.
That's true.
But Liriano was not in his prime anymore. He's well past that, so I'm not upset that they parted ways with him. No. But if you're going to get rid of him, don't package your two of your top prospects and get Drew Hutchinson in return. If you guys are baseball fans that watch baseball consistently, I'll compare him to Charlie Morton, but that's a stretch too.
Yeah.
So who knows what he's going to end up doing, but I bet he spends most of his time in AAA.
And just the kicker on top of that deal, right when it happened, Hutchinson was optioned to AAA. So they get that extra year of control. Like you said, the Pirates are all about young guys that can control, that they don't have to pay a lot of money. So this is just
pure salary.
This is bona fide Pirates front office dealing. It's crazy.
Well, we'll move on from the trade talk because we could probably go all day about the Pirates' bad decision making.
We got to talk about Caminero.
Oh, that's right.
Caminero.
There's a new one.
Yep. Archimedes Caminero was traded to Seattle. Probably a half an hour ago.
For a player to be named.
For a player to be named later, which those deals, like the Ivan Nova deal, which we didn't talk about either, it all depends on player performance. So, I mean, it can be a good deal if you're trusting Caminero to thrive in Seattle, or Ivan Nova, or the Yankees are trusting that Ivan Nova is going to find himself in the last 2 months in Pittsburgh. Those deals can work out for the clubs trading away their major league talent, but that remains to be seen.
Caminero, I considered Caminero to have the best arm in the bullpen. He routinely would hit triple digits. I think he hit 102 earlier this year in a game. So you can't, like you were telling me off air, that you can't teach that power arm. It's just a natural given ability. So I don't understand the need for them to move Caminero. He was under team control
through 2020,
and he wasn't terrible this year. I mean, his ERA, I think, was in the mid-threes. He had some control problems early on in the year, but he's been slowly getting better. But it's, like I said, it's just hard to match that power arm. The Nova thing, before we move on.
Yeah.
Nova's only under contract for 2 more months, so it's basically...
There is no logical reason.
My understanding of this is going to be that they'll probably use Nova just to eat up some innings to save the arms of Tyler Glasnow and Jamison Tyone and Chad Kuhl and all these younger arms that they've been working into the rotation. They probably want to save their innings because they don't want to get them injured here at the last phase of the season. So, but Nova will be gone after the season.
Yeah, he's not resigning. My thing is, now you understand my frustration as a Braves fan, because you have a front office who wants to get younger, yet trades away Andrelton Simmons, yet trades away Alex Wood last year at the deal for a 30-year-old AAA ball player. So you are now experiencing, and you all as well, if you're Pirates fans, are understanding my frustration as a Braves fan. So this is kind of beautiful to watch.
But we'll segue into because the Braves, the worst team in baseball this year, just took 2 out of 3 from the Pirates in the last series ever at Turner Field. That the Pirates will be part of.
Shirt today.
But a couple of big news items came out of that series on top of the Pirates playing terrible baseball overall. The first being Andrew McCutchen was sat all 3 games. I don't want to say benched. Clint Hurdle calls it unplugging him from the game, kind of just giving him a mental break after some of his terrible season that he's having. He's hitting .240. Power numbers are down. July is supposed to be his month where he takes off and really takes the league by storm. This month, or last month, it was just strikeout after strikeout after strikeout, and
he
continuing
in the clutch.
No, and he continues to blame umpires for not calling the strike zone consistently. I don't buy that excuse. He needs to produce. But I don't know if that was the right thing for Clint Hurdle to do against the worst team in baseball, because at this point in the season, the Pirates being only 3 games out or so, they still have a somewhat realistic shot of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you need to take advantage of every game that's on the schedule, and by taking out your superstar, if you want to call him that, I think you're lessening your chances to win.
Well, here's my thing. If you're going to do it at any point in the season, this is the time to do it. It's not at home, so you're not ticking off the fans at home coming to PNC Park. You're facing the worst team in baseball, like you said. I mean, the formula for success was there for this situation, but the Pirates just couldn't execute because of Vogelsong. Or Vogelsong had a good start.
Jeff Locke.
I mean, Jeff Locke. When you have a 4-0 lead after the first inning against Atlanta, you have to win that
How
game.
can Jeff Locke blow a 4-run lead against the worst team in baseball?
I'll tell you how. The Braves tomahawk chopped. They chopped him out at Turner Field.
Well, the other noteworthy thing from this Braves series, John Jaso has gone from being just a mediocre player to my least favorite player on the roster, all because he showed the epitome of laziness.
Let me explain.
Go ahead.
The Pirates had a runner on first. John Jaso's up there. He swings the bat, breaks his bat. The ball goes rolling to Freddie Freeman at first base, and he thought the ball was foul.
He claimed the ball was foul, or he thought Freddie Freeman had just touched first base, so he was already out.
But anyway, so he didn't run out the double play ball. He just stood at home plate, looking at his bat, looking at the umpire, looking at the catcher Pierzynski. And what just happened? Oh my goodness! The dredge might have gotten in his face. That might. I
literally yelled at the TV, "Run!" and he didn't run.
No.
You see guys dogging at the first base once in a while, but rarely do you ever see a guy not leave the batter's box when he hits a ball in play. I don't care if it's a swinging bunt in front of home plate or a home run trot. Just run full speed until you know you're out.
Yeah.
It's just
or jog down to first base. At least move. You're getting paid. What is it? $8 million over these 2 seasons. Move.
Oh, and that's not even the worst part of this, because the next night, so last night against Cincinnati, he was in the starting lineup.
What message does that send
Clint
to your
Hurdle.
players? Clint Hurdle, wake up! You are losing steam as a team, and you're letting this guy just not show any effort. You're letting him just literally walk all over the field. Come on.
Well, I applaud all the fans that booed John Jay. So people might think this is an overreaction, but
No, it's not.
I think if I was Clint Hurdle, I would have been chewing John Jaso out, and he would have been sitting. Or the worst case scenario, I guess, would be just to cut him. But I don't know if
They're not going to cut
I don't
him.
know. That's probably a really extreme overreaction.
It's too
but
efficient of a deal for the
I
Pirates
just
to make that.
hate guys, especially at that level when you are paid to play the game. Run the ball out. You teach this from T-ball all the way up.
Yeah.
And John Jaso apparently didn't learn that.
You
in
should
T-ball.
lose one dread for every ground ball you don't run out.
Well, that could even be because the dread thing with McCutcheon, he cut his dreads and now he's terrible. So,
Well, John Jason.
well, yeah, I guess he's already terrible. He can't get much worse. All right, we'll probably stop talking now since we've been at it for a while.
Good
here.
idea.
But thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.